Hey, what's good, folks? You know, this is your boy Jay. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Today, I got a clip from the CNN town hall meeting with Vice President and Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. And I'm going to be a little kind when I say this. It was utter garbage. And even CNN, even the people at CNN had to admit that Kamala fumbled the ball. So what I'm going to do is play a clip from the actual debate. This is from two young undecided voters. They have their questions. Let's get to it. Fair use, fair use.
And of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration, how can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you.
Yeah, I really want to hear what she's going to say because I have a feeling that it's not going to be good.
Thank you. Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that we have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of housing. My experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure crisis when I brought billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know what home ownership means to the American people, not to mention what it meant to my mother, who worked very hard and saved up so that by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. I bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer.
Okay. You know, before we continue, I got to say a couple of things. Number one, you know, I have a heart. You know, I'm not going to say anything negative about her taking care of her mother due to cancer, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I got a heart. But she asked a legit question. What are you going to do different? Or what are we going to see different from your administration than in Biden's administration? These are the things that get to me about her. She goes into these long soliloquies, and then, but after the end of the soliloquy, you still have an answer. Let's continue.
And so I know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative, and I have raised children. And so I bring to my priorities and will, as president, a new approach and a new idea, frankly, about what we need to do to deal with the sandwich generation, which is what we call those folks who are literally in the middle, who are raising their young children and taking care of their parents, which is why my plan and approach says, hey, you shouldn't have to wipe out all your savings to qualify for Medicaid to be able to get support to hire somebody to help you cook for your parent or help them put on a sweater. I've done that. I know what that requires. You shouldn't have to quit your job in order to do the work that is necessary to take care of your children and your parent, because it's overwhelming to try to do it all. And so my plan is to have and allow Medicare to cover the cost of home health care for our seniors. These are a couple of examples, including what we talked about in terms of price gouging and what we need to do in addition. And it's a new approach that I think it's well overdue. Let's invest in the small businesses of America. The woman who helped raise us was a small business owner. I know who small business owners are. I know what they do. They are the backbone of America's economy. And for too long, we've overlooked their value to the economy as a whole, much less to the economy of neighborhoods and communities.
Man, oh man, yo. Get to the answer. Like, yo, she just asked you a simple question. What are you going to do different? You could have said, you know what? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that Medicaid and Medicare is affordable, blah, blah, blah. Next, blah, 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 price gouging. Next, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. I know somebody in her administration or somebody in her team said, these are the 5 points that you need to talk about. But going on all these online soliloquies or whatever is not helping you. Because undecided voters are going to be like, if you take this long to give an answer to a legit question, how can we trust you?
That's why my plan, and it's a new approach, is about tax cuts for our small businesses so that they can invest in themselves and grow, and in the process, invest in communities, invest in neighborhoods, and strengthen our economy overall. So those are some examples. It's about a new approach, a new generation of leadership based on new ideas and, frankly, different experiences. I bring a whole set of different experiences to this job and the way I think about it than Joe Biden.
Some voter.
Yeah. So, Anderson Cooper about to get in that, you know what? But you went through all that to say, I'm going to bring a new experience. Like, she asked you a legit question, like, what are you going to do different? And you didn't answer the question. Let's see what Anderson Cooper has to say about that.
Though might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done for the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. And I'm not going to shy away from saying, hey, these are still problems that we need to fix.
I want you to meet Jackson Weiss. He's a student.
But see, Anderson asked a legit question and you could go around the Burberry bush. It's like, honestly, like, when a person doesn't have a legit answer, word salad is the main answer. David Axelrod said it. She's the queen of word salad. Like, if word salad had a picture in the dictionary for word salad, it will be her. It will be her, honestly. Let's see what this next young guy has to say.
At Drexel University from Flourtown, Pennsylvania, registered Republican, says he's leaning toward voting for you, but is yet to make a final decision. Jackson.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be here, too, Vice President Harris.
Thank you.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Now, this is a legit question because you're giving these migrants all this money and it's our tax money. How are we going to get these people into society as far as being American citizens? Because they're getting a lot of money. Let's see what the president has to say. Or vice president.
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the two choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country.
But for the last 2.5, 3 years, there's been an uptick in trans-border criminals coming into the United States. You got the Venezuelan gangs, you got the Mexican gangs. They're all over the country now. Why didn't you do this when you first got in the White House? Why didn't you and Joe Biden, I know Joe Biden is the president, but why didn't you attack this when you first got in the White House? You knew there was going to be a problem, but you didn't attack it. You're saying you were a prosecutor, you're saying you're doing all this, you're doing all that, but why didn't you do it when it first happened?
And as my opponent has proven himself, he would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem. You may know there were some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress working with others that came up with a border security bill that would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Those border agents are overwhelmed. They need the support. They need the backup. It would have allowed us to have more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl. I don't need to tell this state and people around the country what is happening in terms of the scourge of fentanyl and how it is literally killing Americans. It would have put resources into stemming the flow. It would have given more resources to prosecute, to investigate and prosecute transnational criminal organizations. It would have done a lot of good. Donald Trump got wind of the bill and told them, don't put it forward. He killed the bill because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
Now, if you really want to know, why the bill was killed, Actually, what was included in the bill, and people don't understand this, what was also included in this bill was billions of dollars going to Ukraine and going to Israel. Billions of dollars were going to the Ukraine and Israel. Only, I think, like 20% of the money was going to go to the border, and the other 80% were going to go to Israel and the Ukraine. And Donald Trump got women this and said, you're not even putting all the money to go towards the border. You're giving this money to other countries and not fixing the problem. So the Republicans killed the bill. Let's continue.
We have to have a secure border, and we have to have a comprehensive pathway for citizenship. And that includes requiring people, hardworking people, to earn citizenship and do it in a comprehensive, humane, and orderly manner.
Let me ask you about that. I mean, you talk about the bill that Donald Trump quashed. That was in 2024. You talk about the bill he tried to get passed in 2021. That wasn't able to get passed. 2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
That was good, Anderson. That was good. Like, okay, you did an executive order to shut down that border, shut down the amount of illegal immigrants coming past weeks before the election. But what did you do the 2 previous years? The numbers went up dramatically. Think about it. Election time, this is when everybody tends to get, especially if you're an incumbent or a part of an incumbent party, you try to get everything fixed before election day. Let's continue.
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if
is
it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing.
See? Great question. Couldn't you do both at the same time? What you could have did was you could have signed an executive order to temporarily cut the amount of immigrants coming in the country while the bill was being processed. Easy fix. Easy peasy fix. But you didn't do it. You let the immigrants come in, and now we got a problem. Let's continue.
Have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action. Congress has the authority and the purse. I hate to use DC terms, but literally they write the checks. Part of the issue is in order to really fix the problem at the border. I was just at the border recently talking with border agents. You know what they talk about? Yes, they are overwhelmed. They're working around the clock. And the other thing that they talk to me about, we need more judges down there to deal with asylum claims. We need more personnel down there to deal with processing. But Anderson, and that's where Congress kicks in terms of dedicating the resources to actually fixing the problem. We have dealt with it such that, to your point, we now, as of today, as of our visit, have lower undocumented immigrants and illegal immigration than Trump when he left office.
That's true.
But we need a permanent solution, and that requires bipartisan work.
Do you wish you'd done those executive orders in 2022, 2023?
I think we did the right thing, but the best thing.
Hold on. You saying you did the right thing by waiting 2 or 3 years, then fixing the problem? If this is the thing that gets to me about her. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video off, man, because it's getting real. You should have did that when you first saw that you had a problem. You should have scorched it. If you would have scorched it back in 2021, you wouldn't have had any issues right now. And that's one thing you wouldn't have to worry about: illegal immigration. The 2 most important issues on people's minds, I'm gonna say 3, is the economy, illegal immigration, and abortion. Now, instead of talking about what you're going to do to fix the economy and what you're going to do to mess with the border, all you talked about is trying to reverse Roe v. Wade, and Trump is Hitler. Trump is Hitler. Trump is Hitler. That's all y'all talk about. But see, at the end of the day, it's starting to get real. It's starting to get stale. It's starting to get stale. It's starting to get really stale. And the sad part is this is just one of the many segments that's on CNN's website where she's doing a bunch of word salad. And now you got people, affiliates of CNN, people saying, why did she do this town hall meeting? I mean, I understand why she did it, because she needed to get out there, but she should have been better prepared. What do y'all think about it? It's your boy Jay here with another video. If you like the content, hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button. On my road to my first 1,000 subscribers. Let's get the conversation started. Do you think she did a good job at this town hall meeting? Let's get the conversation started. I got another video on the side for your viewing pleasure. Until next time, folks, I'm out.